Hey guys, thanks for checking out my video. It's been a while since I uploaded, so I figured I'd make a video explaining what I've been doing. Uh, After my pitiful gauntlet performance, where I died like 7 times and didn't even make it past Act 9, it was too hard, I gave up. I decided to try to redeem myself by coming back and doing a SSFHC run on Frostblade's Trickster. People have been asking me for a long time about hardcore variants of the build, and I never played an Evasion Energy Shield hybrid since they added these new bases, the new Tier 1 bases in the game, so I figured I'd go for a run on the Trickster and see where I could go. So I decided to do that, and this video is just going to be a little update overview of the character and what I've done and how far I've gotten. So I made it to level 95, almost 96. I've got the Atlas almost done. I got it to 111 completion. I got 6 favorites so far. I haven't done any of the pinnacle bosses yet, but I'm getting there. I did do the 2 Void Stones, Quest Eater and Exarch. They were a little sketchy, especially Exarch, because my damage still sucked at that time. It's gotten better now, though. And I'll show you guys my gear. I have a claw with a dead fizz mod and fire and lightning. I am not going to go hatred heat shiver on this variant. I don't think. I actually have a heat shiver in SSF hardcore, but I don't think I'm going to use it just because it's such a huge hit to the evasion and energy shield. Oh no, I'm out of gold. So I'm probably going to just stick with a elemental version of the build. And so I have a fire and lightning claw right now with attack speed and crafted crit. There's a lot of room for improvement here on the claw. The helmet I have, I'm gonna go for a pure, or I wanted to go for a pure energy shield helmet just to boost up my energy shield like a lot. But the only issue with that is getting the suppression back from the evasion mastery, because then you can't use this evasion mastery. So if I could maybe get that suppression back somewhere, like maybe from entrench, if I come down here to get ailment immunity, that might be an option later, and then just not even use the evasion mastery. But we'll see. But right now I just have this this helmet with life, res, defenses. My shield is really bad. It's just chaos res, and this is how I'm capping my suppression with the suppressant here. Amulet is just attributes, resist, a little bit of damage. I anointed high voltage because I had like almost no oils, because I've done like almost no blight. But this is a decent anoint for cheap oils, so I just slapped that on there. The body armor I have, I finally got a necrotic armor. I got a couple of them now. And so I used the harvest bench to reforge defense until I hit this, which has tier 2, and decent resist on it. So I decided to slap the fizz reduction on this, and I did that because I am like super overcapped on chaos res. So I got cap suppression, cap chaos res, and that's because I'm using 2 amethyst rings with chaos res on both of them. I have a taming, or I'm going to have a taming soon. I already have the respite. As soon as I get a barracks grip, I'll be able to have a taming, and then drop one of these rings for the taming. But the chest is pretty good. It's got lots of ES and evasion, which is what I want from it. I hit the fortify on it just today, which I was using the fortify gem before because having fortify up is so important in hardcore. But now that I have that fortify, it does proc most of the time. It isn't quite as consistent as the gem, but I decided to drop the fortify gem and switch it to Nightblade finally. So I've spec'd full Nightblade, and I went for the all the elusive nodes for Nightblade because Nightblade's just so powerful. And then yeah, rings are just res, chaos res, life, and then I put non-channeling on this one just to make my mana a little more comfortable. This isn't exactly required though. And then the gloves, I made these today with the harvest bench, with chaos reforge, and I hit life and cold res with tier 2 flat defenses. And I was looking for an open prefix to craft the projectile pierce here because I ran out of acres. But I did manage to hit the additional strike implicit, which was very lucky. I didn't have that many embers, but managed to hit it. My belt is just life and resists. I did manage to get myself a lethal pride today from my first three-way Legion encounter, which was amazing. This Lethal Pride has almost nothing on it except like one crit multi node and one melee damage node, which is on Survivalist, which is kind of a bad node anyway. So this is will have to be replaced eventually. But this is giving me tons of strength, which means I don't need to use this kind of crappy heavy belt. I can make a Stygian, which I have right here. So I'll be making a Stygian at some point to replace this. The boots are quite decent. I hit Chaos Res with ES Recharge with life and tier 1 flat defenses. So pretty good boots here. I'll probably end up using these boots for quite a long time. These are going to be hard to replace. And then I hit the 2-second brittle, which is better than nothing. For the gems, I'm using Frost Bomb, Frost Blink, Bone Chill. Pretty standard. And then Enduring Cry, Urgent Orders, which is just for endurance charge generation basically. But ever since I put the endurance charge on the chest, it's kind of redundant because this is just permanent uptime because of Swift Killer. So I went Swift Killer here, and then along with Polymath and Soul Drinker. I was one step ahead initially until I unlocked the Freeze Immune Pantheon. And then as soon as I unlocked the Freeze Immune Pantheon, I decided to drop one step ahead. And then I put the Chill Immune on the boots, and I switched it to Swift Killer. And the charge duration here for the endurance charges, even if you just use Enduring Cry and you don't have the chest mod, they stay up for so long that it's really easy to keep them up anyway, just with using Enduring Cry. And then I got Rolling Blades faster attacks, and then Assassin's Mark on hit here. And then down here, Steel Skin, cast on damage taken. And then I'm using Wrath and Discipline right now, and Herald of Ice for my auras. I'm not using Grace, the Herald of Ice there. And then here I have a VLS setup with Rage and Nightblade and Ellie damage. This is just an extra damage cooldown here that I use against bosses and essences and stuff, basically. There's still some flexibility here in terms of what's actually the best to use with VLS. Returning projectiles might be better. There's not really any other utility that you can put on this. Really, it's just a rage DPS bomb basically. And then that's it for the gems. I've got a attack speed damage tincture here, and then jade, silver, diamond flasks with shock reduction, and then evasion and crit. My flasks are pretty decent. I re-rolled them today. And then the bleed life flask. And that's about it for the gear. I don't have any gems on except for the Lethal Pride, so there's nothing to show there. And here's my tree. I've got Ghost Dance written in blood up here. This mastery here, evasion, and then I got both accuracy wheels here until I fix my accuracy. I'm probably gonna have to get accuracy on gloves, which means I'm gonna have to get another new set of gloves that has accuracy here instead of where that regen is. And then I can drop this wheel, hopefully. Additional strike wheel will be dropped when I get +2 strikes eventually. This wheel will probably be dropped once I get better resists on my gear. My gear is all just kind of really bad, so I still need these resists. My resists are like pretty tight still. Rest of the tree is fairly similar to the Trickster and Softcore that I used to play, minus like Ghost Dance and Soul Thief, Written in Blood, and Void Barrier here. I think those are the only big changes from the old Tricksters I used to make. And then I came down here for Lethality because this is just such a powerful node if you're not crit capped. No Cluster Jewel. Don't know if I'll ever go for a Cluster Jewel, and if I do, it'll probably be different than I did on Softcore. So yeah, that's the tree. That's the gear. For Pantheons, I'm using this one for freeze immunity because I don't have ailment immunity yet. And then I'm using the shock effect one to be immune to shock with the flask as well for now. I want to get this one unlocked too for when I do Exarch altars. And then what else do I need to say about the character? I think that's about it for where I'm at. I am having a ton of fun. I'm going to keep progressing. Come by the stream and watch. And yeah, what else can I say? I'm leveling more multi-strikes to flip and try to get them 2120. Lots of room for improvement on this character. What else? I've managed to find 5 divine orbs. Here's my currency that I found. I still need to get a blind on hit tattoo. That's what I'm kind of trying to get right now. I've got my King's March up and running a little bit. Still no 6-link either. Don't have very many fusings. Managed to get a 5-link only to this point. So anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm going to make maybe a guide on this as soon as I figure out exactly what I think is optimal. I don't think this is optimal yet at all. My tree is very inefficient. I don't have charisma. I'm not even using grace, actually, as you saw. The amount of evasion I have is 71 with no flasks, and then 78 with flasks. So this has been enough to survive just fine. I have 7.2k HP, which is feeling pretty comfortable with Fortify and with the endurance charges and the seal skin. It's been good. But once I play a little more, as long as I stay alive and I kind of fine tune where I want the build to end up, I might make a guide video, or I might just make like 1 or 2 more updates on the character. But yeah, either way, I think that's it for this one. So thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned to the channel. Come by the stream, say hi, and I'll see you next time.